Good afternoon and welcome to a special edition of Hitting the Field. I am Mason Migliara and I am joined by a very special guest. Stay tuned, you are not going to want to miss this. Hitting the Field starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
As I said, we have a very special guest in the studio today. In case you didn't know, joining me here today is a junior star softball player who is 5th all-time in RBIs at UCF, a USA national player, and a certified dog. Everyone, please welcome Miss Jada Cody. Jada, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Of course, of course. I mean, this weekend you were extremely busy. You guys had 5 games in 3 days, back-to-back doubleheader days. I mean, how are you feeling, like, mentally, physically? Must be exhausted, yeah?
I'm a little tired. I didn't expect to catch that much this year, but knowing what my team needed this week, it was like definitely important for me. So just helping my pitchers behind the plate. So I'm a little tired than usual, but I'm excited for what the season has to come.
Yeah, definitely want to get into that catcher, third base, kind of like your versatility a little bit later. But, you know, you had a very busy weekend. Have you always been kind of like a very busy kind of person? You know, when you were younger, did you play like any other sports growing up rather than just softball? I mean, you're an absolute athlete, so I mean.
Yes, when I was younger, I did gymnastics and I was a cheerleader, and I got into softball because of my brothers. I went to one of their games and I like fell in love with it, and I told my parents like I want to play this sport. So since I was 6 years old, I've been playing softball. So
6, wow,
yeah.
That's a long time.
Yes,
that's a long time. A lot of softball. I mean, did you ever like play up in it? I mean, obviously you're a stud, so when you probably had to have known early on, like pretty good at this thing. Did you play like up at all? Like, did you,
yeah. So ever since I was younger, so when I was 6, I played in 8U, and then when I was playing 8U, they had kicked me out of the rec ball league. So at 8 years old, I had to start playing travel ball. So since I was 8, I have been playing travel ball. So I've always been playing up. So like when I was 10, I was playing 12 and 14U. So I definitely think that's definitely has helped me grow to the softball player I am today, is just playing with the older girls.
Playing with the older girls at like 8, so that's what, like 2nd grade? Were you playing with like 4th graders at that point? Like 10-year-olds almost? That's insane.
Yes.
I mean, that whole pitch speed and everything must have been like insane. Your parents, what kind of influence did they have on you as an athlete growing up?
So there's 2 different like vibes from my parents. So my mom is kind of like the life coach, and she's helped me out with that and like just the positive reinforcement, and my dad's the one that's like hard on me every day about softball. So both of them have definitely given me this opportunity, and I don't think if it wasn't for my parents, I don't think I would be in the situation I am right now. But they're both the biggest supporters I have, and like they're my biggest fans. So, like you guys will see my parents in the stadium.
We definitely see them.
Yeah.
I mean, they got these amazing shirts.
Yes.
I mean, where do they get those from?
So my dad has them custom made like every
Really?
year. Yeah. So like every week he comes out here. Like when he comes out here, he has a different shirt made. It doesn't matter what it is. He had my face on it. He had his face on it. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you said every season it's like something different, or every game?
So like he comes out here for like the first 2 weeks, and then when we go to California, he'll make a new shirt for like all my family, since I'm from California. So it's gonna be like about 25 plus people at my games in California.
And that's in like next
2
week?
weeks. Yeah. So not this coming weekend, but next coming weekend.
That's insane. I mean, is there any way that like any of us at HCF maybe get some shirts? So that, I mean, you have these shirts like at the game, because we all plan to be there this entire season.
Yes.
Like, any way that we can get those shirts?
Yes, just let me know.
All right, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, those shirts are absolutely phenomenal. Seeing your parents out there is really cool. Also, and you said you have brothers. What kind of influence did they have on you as, I mean, obviously you're younger than them, right?
Yes.
How many brothers do you have?
I'm the youngest of 6, so I have 5
Holy.
brothers. I have 4 brothers and 1 sister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, and you're the youngest, you said?
Yes.
So you have a lot of people to look up to, yeah?
Yes.
How How did you do that?
It definitely has helped me grow as a person and as a softball player. Just seeing like with their failures and their success definitely has allowed me to be successful. And like they're my biggest fans. They're always there. And they'll be there in California. But I don't think if I didn't have my siblings in front of me, I don't think I would be in this position. So I just allowed myself to see their errors and like see their failures and like, okay, I see you guys do that, and I'm gonna do the other route. And so like that was one of my biggest reasons why I came to UCF. I wanted to get away from distractions and really like make my family proud, and I think this is the best decision that I have made.
That's amazing. I mean, yeah, you're coming a very long way. I mean, cross country, but UCF just kind of felt like home away from home almost.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about like, obviously we know everything about softball, but who is Jada Cody like off the field? Like, what other hobbies do you have?
Actually, during COVID, I got into painting, so I do a lot of canvas painting. I like to go sit at Lake Claire and just like sit and just watch the water. And I'm a really big food person, so like if I have any new restaurants I see on TikTok, like I'm the first person in line getting food. So those are kind of my things outside of softball.
Any like place around UCF that you have, picked up on, place that you go to frequently?
Don Julio and La Hacienda are the two big Mexican places. It feels like I'm back at home.
Oh,
Yes.
I looks like I got to make my way
Yes,
out there.
yes, yes.
I'm very, as I was talking about earlier with my job, I mean, I'm very like stuck there, but I need to definitely reach out to those places. Talk to me about, Team USA. That whole experience must have been more than softball. I mean, you were traveling to both Japan and Guatemala. I mean, talk to me about that. How was that experience?
Yeah, so I had two different experiences. So in Guatemala was the best one, but in Japan it was all college players but one, and she was an Olympian. So like I got to just see like the different D1 programs and how they run and how they function. So that was a great opportunity just to be the first time playing with Team USA. But Guatemala was my all-time favorite. It was me and Megan Frama from UCLA, and the rest were pro athletes and Olympians. So just being able to be around like the top tier softball players in the nation, it just allowed me to grow as a person, as a player. But they really just like built my confidence of knowing like I'm in the right spot and like I don't have to overwork myself. Like I'm in a good spot and I can compete with anyone on the field. So that definitely gave me a boost of confidence when I went to Guatemala.
That is super amazing. You're talking about earlier with the whole painting and everything. Obviously Japan, like how is that like culture and seeing like the arts and like the museums and everything there? Because I'm sure you definitely took time to like go and look at that.
Yeah.
How was that?
I love Japan, like just the scenery. We got to fly into Tokyo, so just seeing like the different culture and definitely having to just like be able to communicate with someone that I don't know their language was definitely like a great thing. Like I was one of our translators just because like I understand like the hand signals and stuff like that. So like just communicating there, it definitely was a great experience, and I hope to be able to go over there overseas and play softball there after college.
That would be super awesome. Everybody, Jada Cody, she is very diverse.
Yes.
She's not just a softball player. She does much more than that. So talk to me about like pregame meal, pregame hype song. I mean, you got to have that, right?
Yes. So my pregame meal, I usually like wake up in the morning and I get breakfast, and then my pregame meal I usually get a acai bowl from Everbowl.
Okay.
It's kind of just like basically like a smoothie bowl, and I think that just like fills me. And then my like a walk up song, but like my game day song is Dreams and Nightmares. That gets me pumped up.
That is, love it. Well, let's get into softball. I mean, this past weekend, you guys had a very tough schedule, right? I mean, you played number 25 Michigan, 17 Duke, and 12 Bama. You were able to beat Michigan pretty well, 8-2, and then you had a tough loss against Texas A&M. There was some rain going on. I mean, you had that also last week against what was the first game? UMass, and then Boise State having that whole thing. How is it like playing these big like SEC teams in Duke and Bama? Like how is that kind of gelling the team together?
I think it's a great test for right now. Like last year, Clearwater wasn't our best tournament, but if it wasn't for Clearwater, I don't think we would have went as far as we went. Like it definitely tested everything that we had, our pitching, our offense, defense. So I think now it's allowing us to grow. Like we haven't even played the best that we've played yet, and we're still in the games with top 10 teams. So like just knowing that and having that like mindset of like we're in the game with Alabama, like we were winning against Alabama, we were winning against Duke. So like just having that mindset, and it's only 2 weeks in of season. So like I'm like our goal is top 8, and I'm like 100% sure that we're gonna make it there.
I believe in that too. I mean, against 2 SEC teams in Duke and Bama, you went into extra innings, and that Duke game, that one was right there, and then just that weird call at third base, leaving early. We won't get into that, and then Bama as well, like 6-5, and just those walk-off losses, like that's really tough. Like, and then you guys came back the next day and played Mississippi State late in the night, so you had the entire day to kind of sit on those last losses, and then you come out against Mississippi State and you end up winning that game. Like, how did that bring the team together? And obviously had a nice bus ride home late last night.
After our losses, our 2 losses in one day, it was new for us just losing 2 games in one day, but it definitely allowed us. We had to talk as a team, and like we were like we're tired of losing. Like, we need to be at our top every game, and like the first few innings, like we're like 100% together, and then like it kind of like fades out. And so we had all day yesterday. We had like an extra lift, like we had mobility, we had time to watch film, and really just like stay together as a team. So like in those moments, like it's definitely important just to stay together as a team, and like that's what we talked about. Like, it's not like just one person that has to be successful. Like, we have our motto that's 25-on-1, so it's that one team against all of us. Like, they have to beat our best selves. So like if they can't beat our best selves, like no one's gonna beat us. And like that was our motto going into the game.
Yeah, that 25-1 motto is I like that. That's a really good motto to have. You know, now that you're a junior, this team is pretty new for the most part. You got 3 big transfers in Jazz Williams, Sarah Willis, and Chloe Evans, and then you also have 7 freshmen. You are definitely now, you're not one of those people that like, you know, you kind of sit back and you're just like listening to everyone else. You're the one that people are listening to. How is it like being in that leadership role with like Shannon and yourself? How is that?
I think leadership goes like a far way. Like, I feel like if you don't have a great leader on the team, like, the team's not going anywhere and it's not going to be successful. So just being able to know how to talk to each player and how to lead each teammate has definitely been a big thing, and there's still room to grow. But it's allowed me to grow my freshman year. Just having a big role my freshman year has definitely allowed me to be successful now. And just like knowing, like, when I was a freshman, like, I was scared to make a mistake because I felt like the seniors were like, I should be playing over them. So like having the freshmen on the field now, I'm like, you're good, like, we got you. So just having that leadership and just being in like all the roles that some of the players are playing now, and it's just like allowed me to be the best leader I could be.
Yeah, I mean, and you are definitely that leader. I mean, this weekend, you were telling me a little bit earlier, you're not really expecting to catch as much this season, but you were catching a bunch, which I love you behind the plate, by the way.
Yes.
You have a cannon of an arm,
Yes.
and you're a good caller behind there, and you're a good receiver. You frame very well and everything, and I appreciate that as a watcher. I was a pitcher myself, so, you know, have love for my catchers.
Yes.
Talk to me about, like, how you control playing both third and catcher, being so versatile.
Yeah, so it's like 2 different vibes. So like third base, I'm kind of just like connecting with like the players around me, like the shortstop and like the outfielder, making sure that we're communicating at each pitch. But I feel like catching, it's like a different tempo because I'm the one that's controlling the tempo. I'm controlling like the pitcher. But just to see their confidence when I'm behind that plate is definitely a big thing for me, and I like value that a lot. And you can just see their confidence when I'm behind the plate, and like I'm telling my pitcher, like, it's okay, like if you spike the ball on the ground, like I'll pick it for you. So like just having that connection with our pitcher is definitely important. Like, we have 7 pitchers, but just being able to be the versatile and just like being able to catch every pitcher is definitely important for our success this year.
How are you like mentoring like the younger catchers on the team?
Yeah, so we have 2 new catchers that haven't even caught. Like, this is their first season catching. So just being there for them. If they need extra work, I'm there. And like just like growing them as a catcher and knowing like there's just one thing that they're missing, just like knowing that the catcher is the leader. And it's great that they're a great catcher already, but they still have so much room to improve. And it's like once they get better, the whole team gets better. So just being there for them through that process of becoming a catcher this year is definitely a good thing, but I'm excited for them.
We have a defensive highlight. If we could pull that up. Yeah, we can play it right here. This is from last season against Wichita State. I mean, look at this. You across the body, and then this throw was just, you had her by a mile, right? I mean,
Yes.
How are you using this film at all, or in general, just to teach those younger catchers? Like,
Yeah, so we work on throwdowns a lot. So
Here's the one from Duke.
Yeah.
This one from the knees, Yadier Molina-esque. I mean, absolutely on the money right there. Look at that. Jazz doesn't even have to like do much. She just kind of, the ball takes her to the tag. We can pause it right here because the next one's going to be more third base. But yeah, so you're working on like throwdowns and everything with these new catchers?
Yes.
What positions are they used to playing?
Usually like middle infield or third base.
Okay, so they have somewhat of an arm, right?
Yes,
so they're able to definitely get there. Let's play the third base highlight. It's just right after this. This is going to go through a little bit. I believe these are both from the Texas A&M game. Rainy conditions, bunt right here. You come, you charge in, and you just easily make the throw to first. We can pause it right there. These rainy conditions, like how are you able to just keep yourself so composed?
So we've practiced balls being wet. We live in Florida, so just having the wet ball, so it's just like you have to grab the seams to throw the ball. So in this play, I made sure that I attacked the ball and I got there in a great position. So like I didn't have to overthrow the ball. I can literally just simply like float the ball over there. So that's just a big thing. It's just getting in like great position to throw the ball in wet conditions.
So this one as well. This is a little bit later. This is like the next inning. Absolute rocket to third, and you're right there. Look at you're already set, and you're just right there, and boom, catch. Like, how are you preparing for like that moment? Kind of because that was a big moment in the game. Obviously, the how it turned out wasn't how we wanted it, but in that moment, that was a big momentum because they had runners on second and third, and if that ball gets over your head, that's two runners that score, and it's just like.
Yeah, so in practice, we practice like live situations, so just being in pressure situations. So just allowing myself to thrive in those moments. And before the pitch is called, like we know where the pitch is going. So like we are expecting where the pitch should be going. So just having that mentality of like every ball's coming to me, it like definitely has allowed me to be successful at that.
How's like the heart rate at those times? Is it elevated, or are you just kind of like, I'm used to this?
In like my freshman year and sophomore year, I definitely would say it was like elevated. Like I would stress myself out in like those situations. But now I feel like my heart rate is like at a steady pace, and I'm just like, okay, I love this moment.
That's good. Yeah. You're just totally under control, and you're like, I got this.
Yes.
What is that preparation like? Obviously this weekend you weren't, again, as you said, you weren't prepared to like catch as much. But what is the preparation like in practice between? Are you taking more reps at third? Are you doing a lot of catching and like working with the different pitchers that you got? Like what are you doing?
Yeah, so I would say like 85% of the practice I'm playing third base. And then like the 15 I catch a bullpen here and there. So it's mainly about third base, but the way I've allowed myself to do it is that I prepare as like I'm catching, and that's allowed me to be prepared as a third baseman too.
I mean, last night, that game against Mississippi State, you had Caitlin Felton, who is an absolute dog. She is a workhorse for that team. And then you have, and she throws really fast. And then you have a complete different change of pace with Angelina DeVoe coming in, and she had 4 strikeouts to end that game pretty much. How is it like catching that and getting that release of like, all right, we won the game, and now we're going to go on a happy bus ride?
No, it was a great feeling just to build their confidence back up. And just knowing that they're in great spots and like we have a great pitching staff is definitely important. But like just to control the tempo, like we have Caitlin that throws like upper 60s, and we have Angie that throws lower 60s. So like just having those definitely changes the pace of the game, and I think it's a great thing to have because Angie throws people off. Like I can't, like even myself, like in practice, like I struggle hitting off of her. So just having that ability to have speed on the pitching staff and like the spinny, slowy pitchers are definitely a key thing to our success this year.
I mean, this team, when I was there last weekend, you guys have all these different dances and all these handshakes. You guys look like you're having a lot of fun out there. Is that are you guys really just like, how was that bus ride yesterday after the game? Like that must have been a happy bus ride, right?
Yes.
What were you all doing?
We were singing the whole time. We were doing karaoke. So all the new people the new coaches, the new players, they all have to sing a karaoke song on the bus. So we had Coach Jen and Ryan, our SID, that were singing. So that was what we did after the game, and like after like 15 minutes before we got home, we just turned the lights off.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
The Climb by Miley Cyrus.
Oh, that is a great song. I used to sing that when I was younger. I'm not gonna lie. But talking about like the team as a whole, you guys have gotten some new transfers. it looks like you and Jazz are really like gelling really well. I mean, I see you guys are always doing the whole over the arm shake, whatever it is. Talk to me about Jazz and also the other transfers in Sarah and Chloe.
I think the 3 transfers were big pickups for us. Jazz, I'm super close with her, especially since she's on my side of the field, and like we have to have that connection. But Chloe and Sarah, they're big time for us. They're all power hitters, and that's what we need in our lineup. And Sarah being able to be in the outfield, hit for power, and also pitch like upper 60s definitely has allowed us to gel together, especially with the 7 new freshmen too. So I think they were big pickups, and I'm excited for this team, and I'm excited that we got them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Chloe's batting 4th pretty much every game. She's cleaning up, and she's been absolutely cleaning house. That walk-off against Boise State, I mean, that was absolutely electric. Me, Doug, Johnny Jackson, Tyler, we were all there. We were screaming, going nuts. How is it like having Shannon and Chloe behind you? How is that like changing your approach? Because softball's a game of adjustments. Like, how are you getting attacked? Like, how are you adjusting to how teams are attacking you as a hitter with these players behind you?
Yeah, so like last year, sometimes I didn't feel like I was like protected in a lineup. Like I felt like they will walk me and try to get to the next batter, but having them behind me, like they have to pitch to me, and like because if they don't pitch to me, like they're pitching to like 2 other power hitters. So it's definitely like I've been protected in the lineup, so I've been getting more pitches that are hittable. So I'm excited for it. So.
We got some highlights from last season when you broke the single season RBI record. We can play the highlight here. You got this little two tap last season, and now this season you have like a full stride. Has that been something that you've like worked on? What's been up?
Yeah, so our new hitting coach, Coach Jen, she's like really like has a lot of knowledge in hitting. And so the 2-tap was definitely throwing my timing off a little bit. And so the 1 timings allowed me to be more successful and being able to hit more pitches like out of the zone and being able to hit like different speeds of pitches. So I definitely changed my stance from last year, but I think it's a great stance and it's going to allow me to be successful.
How is it? You worked with Stephanie Best, right? A couple over the COVID like kind of outbreak. You and Gianna Mancha, you guys were working with her. How was that working with her?
It was great being able for her to give back to us and allow us to grow and like use her facilities because we weren't able to use the UCF facilities during COVID. So just being able to be there, I think it allowed Gianna to grow as a pitcher in those moments. So I'm appreciative of her, and I don't think we would have been where we are now. And so I'm excited for her and like what she has going on for Pro Swings, the camps, the facility, and I'm excited that there's something like that around us.
Right. That's fantastic. And you have this role model, Natasha Watley. She was traditionally kind of like a slap hitter, and you hit dingers, bro.
Yes.
Like, I mean, so although she was a slap hitter, she's your like role model or your idol. Like, how have you used her approach to how have you used it to get into your game?
Just the way that she like is on the field, like her tempo on the field. She controls the speed of the game. So just allowing that, and like she's also just something like there's like a person I look up to because she's giving back to the community, especially for the African American community. Like she gives back a lot, and she has a foundation for the African American. So I look up to her in like those aspects, but on the field too. So
yeah, love that. Talk about this season. Last season, y'all had a fantastic year, won the AAC, and then went to Super Regionals against Oklahoma, that absolute powerhouse of a team. You also hit a homer there. That was pretty cool, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We have a highlight of that from I think that's the end of this. But anyways, talk to me about like your expectations for this season because you want to go farther than Super Regionals for sure.
Yes. So our goal this year is top 8. Top 8 is going to allow us to go to the World Series and be the first time in UCF program history for softball that we have been that far. So that's our goal, and we have everything like it takes to get there. So I'm excited for this year. And we have more power numbers this year on offense. We have pitching that can take us further than what we did last year. So I'm excited to see what we have this year going on.
I definitely am looking forward to this season, with the Big 12. You guys are going to be moving there next season. But kind of want to transition. What is the impact of like NIL, right? I mean, we hear a lot about it with like football and like men's basketball, but what is it doing for like women athletes like yourself? Like, how has NIL helped you as a player?
It just allowed us to showcase our talent more than just like on the field. And a big part of that, I definitely want to give thanks to Mission Control. They've allowed me to receive an NIL deal and allowed me to be where I needed to be, like on the field and off the field. So Mission Control is definitely a step for me in the NIL process.
What is it? Okay, talking about Mission Control. What has it been like working with like Mackenzie Milton, who is very well known here at UCF and also college sports in general? What's it been like working with him and Mission Control so far?
It's been a great experience. I love every moment of it, just giving back to the community, being able to go see the community outside of just being on the field, and then just giving back for that process. And I think Mackenzie's doing a great thing with NIL and being engaged in that. He's definitely had a successful career. So just being able to be successful outside of football for him, I think it's been a big thing for us. And I'm excited to see what NIL has for the student athletes now.
That's great. What's your favorite part of being a part of Mission Control?
Just showcasing what UCF has to offer. I'm able to connect with the community. I'm able to do interviews, signatures. So just being able to see what they have to offer me has definitely been a great thing, and I'm excited to be an ambassador for them.
That's fantastic. I mean, I remember I saw a little picture. I think was it yesterday? Was it Saturday or yesterday that you guys had like the little opportunity for signings at Clearwater?
Yes.
You guys had lines of people.
Yeah.
How was that? That must have been like really rewarding. Right?
Yes, that was probably the biggest time, like the signature that we had, like a group of people that wanted signatures from us. But it was great just seeing that, like even after a loss, like just seeing the little girls like being able to look up to us definitely was a big thing. Like, okay, this is why I'm playing. Like I'm playing for the next generation. But it was a great opportunity just to see the little girls being so excited to get our signatures and just take a picture with us.
Yeah, speaking about that next generation, you're an idol for a lot of young girls playing softball. I mean, how is it like seeing these young girls when you were them at one point, like what, 10, 15 years ago? Now how does it feel to be that idol for them?
I think it's a big thing. I feel like when I was younger, like softball wasn't a big sport. Where I was from especially, so now, and I feel like the girls know like softball is like a dope sport. Like it's being nationalized, like it's on TV, like it's on ESPN. So being able just to be like a role model for them and someone to look up to definitely has been like an important thing for me.
And what can NIL do to help like promote softball, because it's very underrated? It is probably, as Johnny Jackson likes to say, the best spectator sport. I mean, this at the Plex, it is absolutely electric. So what can NIL do to like help progress the sport of softball?
I think NIL is a big thing just to showcase our talent and allow us to get paid for who we are and what we do. And also I think it's a big thing for recruiting. It's definitely a tremendous thing for us for recruiting, especially going to the Big 12. Like it's going to allow us to get big time players and allow us to grow and be top 10 like consistently.
Yeah, it's going to be huge going to the Big 12. You're going to need some big players, big recruits, I'm sure. I mean, with the NIL and everything, like people are going to be looking for that money a little bit. So how is the NIL going to how is it going to change being from AAC now to Big 12?
I think some people are going to want more money, and that's okay. But I think that we really have to understand NIL is just we're not just gonna it's not just about money in our sport. So yes, NIL has helped us, but it's more than just money in our sports. But I think it's gonna allow us to grow in the Big 12 and get more things, more equipment and stuff like that. So it's just gonna allow us to grow and be in a good position for recruitment.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're gonna definitely have more to give to these new recruits, more to show them. I mean, you've already got a great class. I remember Olivia Elliott, right? Yesterday, she hit that bomb.
Yes.
That was her first career hit, right? That. It's just great what you guys have going on here at UCF. I mean, this team is really, really special, y'all. I mean, do a little promo. Do something. get people to go to these games.
No, come out to the Plex. It's definitely a great experience. If you haven't been to a softball game, let it be the first softball game you've been to. You definitely won't regret it.
I mean, I don't regret it. I plan on going every single chance that I get. All right. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have. I really appreciate you being here today. But that is all the time that we have with Jada Cody today. It has been an absolute pleasure. Everybody, please get out to the Plex, as Jada just said. We have absolute dogs out there. The goal is the World Series. We want to get there. Thank you so much for joining us on this very special edition of Hitting the Field. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me